In ProjectTeam.com, you can manage change in a few different ways. Before getting into the system, let's go over a few basics. At its simplest, after creating a contract, you can immediately create change orders, and once they get approved, they affect the revised contract value. To take it a step further, your process may involve creating a potential change order, or PCO, which gets routed to the appropriate parties before eventually creating a change order from the top-level information and many subcontract change orders based on the breakdown of the PCO. This is still a pretty simple process, but it gives you better visibility into the tracking of each change. And finally, you have the ability to follow a more in-depth and complete process by starting off with the directive, having the option to turn that into a PCO, adding information to the PCO, which can then be used to create a request for proposal, or RFP, and then cost proposals can be created against the RFP, which can eventually be pulled back into the original PCO. That PCO can then be used to create change orders and subcontract change orders, which are eventually reflected back in the appropriate contracts once approved. This process involves many more form types, especially when compared to the first two examples, but it gives you maximum flexibility into the current state of any change. It also allows you to get more members of your project team as a whole involved in the process. For the purposes of this video, we'll walk through the third example just to show you how everything works in ProjectTeam.com. We'll start off in the directives log. Typically, the owner may create a directive and issue it to the contractor. The directive is used to direct the contractor to perform additional work that is not already agreed upon per the existing contract. To create a new directive, we'll click the New button on top of the log and fill in the appropriate information. Once the directive is complete, we can choose to save and share to whoever needs the update. For our purposes, we'll just always choose the Save Only option. When viewing the directive, in the Options dropdown at the top of the form, you can see a link to Create PCO. Clicking this button will first ask you to choose an existing contract, and then you'll be taken to a new PCO form. When viewing the PCO, we'll see the directive reference is pre-populated for us depending on where we just came from. We can fill in the top-level information, but then scroll down to the cost breakdown collection. Here, you can see many columns related to information that we can add to the collection. We also see at the bottom of the collection all markups based on the contract that we chose previously. From here, we see we have a couple options. We can add existing cost proposals or just create new rows. For now, we'll create new. In the window, we'll add all information related to this new item. We'll add a second row, so once we're done, we'll click the Add in New button. We'll add in the information, and then we'll click the Add button to close the window. Looking at the cost breakdown now, we see we have two rows that we just added. In this collection, there is an area to define related subcontracts, an area for cost-related information, and then another for revenue-related information. Within each of these areas, we can see a column for estimates, a column for proposed amounts, and a column for the approved amounts once we get there. Our cost breakdown looks good right now, so we'll save it. At this point, we started with the directive and pulled it into the PCO. Now we're ready to create an RFP. The RFP will be what we send to the subcontractors or other parties to ask for their proposals. Let's scroll down to the cost breakdown again. Check the rows that we'd like to include in our RFP, and then click the Create RFP button. This warning window just tells us that the information on the RFP will be pre-populated with information from the PCO. We'll click Yes here. We're looking at the new RFP screen. Let's quickly fill it out with the appropriate information and save. We can send this RFP out to our subcontractors by clicking this button, but since it's just us for now, we'll skip it. Let's pretend that we're a subcontractor now, and we just received an email notification about the RFP. We can click the link in the email and we're taken back to this screen. From here, we can review the RFP and click the Create Proposals button. We're asked which item of the RFP we want to create the cost proposal against. We'll choose the first one. Let's quickly fill out most of the cost proposal. Two fields that I want to highlight here are the proposed amount and requested days. These are fields the subcontractor can fill out that can be used to pull into the PCO once the cost proposal is submitted. Let's save the cost proposal now. At this point, just to review, we started with a directive, created a PCO, pulled information into an RFP, and created cost proposals against the RFP. Once the subcontractor is ready for us to review the cost proposal, they can submit it. This will automatically share the cost proposal with users defined in the RFP reviewers field. Let's quickly go back to the PCO one more time. I'll navigate to the PCO log, and then click the PCO that we created earlier. We'll scroll down to the cost breakdown collection again. You can see a little yellow indication that tells us something new has been submitted. Click the flag and a modal appears showing us all cost proposals related to this line item. For now, we just have the one, but we could have many if we sent the RFP to different subcontractors asking for proposals. Let's choose this one and close. You can see the cells are populated with cost proposal information. Sometimes this collection can get really big, and for that reason, we have the ability to expand it to take up our entire screen. This helps when we have a lot of data to review and when we need to make a lot of updates. Let's close for now. Now that we've received necessary proposals from our subs, let's go back into edit this PCO to fill in the approved amounts. Let's say we agreed to the proposal amount here, and we can copy that same value into the approved revenue. Once we're done, we can see our markups are calculating correctly. Let's save the PCO again. At this point, we've made it through the full review process and we're about to start creating change orders. I'm only going to show you how to make a contract change order for this video. I'm not going to go through the process of making subcontract change orders, but you can definitely do that in ProjectTeam.com, and it's very similar to what I'm about to show. Okay, so now on our PCO, let's click the Create CO button. We're taken over to a change order form. Here, I'll again quickly fill out the form, and over on the Change Details tab, you can see the information from our PCO being pulled in. Quick note, we can pull in multiple PCOs into a single change order if needed, but for now we just have the one. Back on the General tab one more time, we'll see we have the ability to mark the change order approved. We probably wouldn't approve the CO without making sure other teammates have reviewed it, but for now it's okay. We'll click Approved and put an approved date in. This date will help us in another video when we create payment applications. Once we're done, we'll simply save. Okay, now we've been through the entire process. We went from Directive to PCO to RFP to Cost Proposal to PCO again, and then finally the change order. Just to show you how all of this has affected our original contract, let's navigate over there really quickly. Click on the Forms menu and find Contracts, and then choose our contract. We'll scroll down a little to see our original contract, all approved change orders. For now, we just have the one that we did, and it's calculating the revised contract value. As we all know, change is inevitable on any construction project, and it's critical to have a great system in place that can help you manage every step of the process. Whether you're simply tracking change orders or following a full change management process, ProjectTeam.com is here to help you crush your project goals. For more information, contact sales@ProjectTeam.com. We're excited for you to get started.